terms of how much money these different sources of revenue are raising, and what we're looking at in terms of the budget, and what we're looking at as a budget deficit. So really concretely.
Well, I'd go back to a point that Robert made. You know, a broad-based tax has the virtue that you can raise a lot of money for public purposes with low tax rates. And low tax rates are good because they don't create these efficiency effects or you know, distortionary effects. So I was looking at the state revenue sources the other day, and I was reminded we have a timber tax in New Hampshire, a 10% tax on stumpage value. Do you think that that creates jobs in the forests in the North Country? Right? That's a bad tax. It raises very little revenue. You got a 10% tax on stumpage value. It destroys jobs in forestry. So I think a two-part strategy would be to say to the union leader, we already have a broad-based tax. It's called property tax. It's a very, you know, the equalized valuation in the state is huge. It's many, many billions of dollars. In my handout, I've got some numbers on it. I would argue the business enterprise tax is essentially a broad-based tax too. The tax base is huge. It's many billions of dollars. All right, and so we shouldn't then say, well, we're pristine. We don't have a broad-based tax in New Hampshire. We have at least two already. What you don't want to do is to keep adding on, you know, a tax on car rentals and a tax, you know, and for God's sake, let's not even think about raising the business profits tax rate again. It's already pretty high, and if you want to dry up jobs in New Hampshire, raise the rate more. In other states will be happy to take employers, you know, North Carolina and Georgia and other places. We will be glad to grab our remaining manufacturers. So I would oppose raising the BPT, the business profits tax rate, because it's pretty high already. A sales tax with a low rate, and maybe you could dedicate the revenues to the educational trust fund. The ideas like that are reasonable, and I hope that the union leaders evolved enough since the time of Mr. Loeb that even they could see the virtue.